So what you just see me doing is preparing the Wild Man self-feeding fire pit. Building up this bank of dirt at the back is going to hopefully counteract the supports catching on fire. Now, step one is just building up a large bed of embers. It's important to concentrate on the ends because from what I've seen and in my experience, self-feeding fire pits like to burn in the middle and not at the ends. That's why these sort of scoop down into the ends just to allow a bit more airflow around it. But I'm not going to actually start loading it up to a bit later. Obviously, the longer I burn it for, the more large rounds I'm going to need to roll into it, which means the more I'm going to need to saw. So I'm just using bits and bobs. I've got so much wood laying around here that I had loaded up on this shelter. I'm just burning it and getting a lovely bed of embers under there, really hot, so I can roll one down into it, push all this to the back, roll one down into it, and that should burn from front to back then, hopefully, each time. This is going to be a live sort of attempt at doing this. I've done it in the day before for probably about 4 hours and it worked alright, but it did scorch the supports, which made me think eventually they would set on fire. So yeah, this is a bit of a live attempt at doing it. I'm hoping tonight I can sleep in the shelter just in what I'm wearing. I'm going to have an inflatable mattress, but I'm hoping I won't need any blanket or sleeping bag. I've got a winter sleeping bag with me, but I really don't want to use it, if I'm honest, because I'm just hoping the pit will work, and I know it gives off enough heat to work, especially this time of year. It's starting to cool down at night a little bit. It's not getting that cold, but I did get quite cold last time in my wool blanket, I'm not going to lie. The thing is with wool blankets, there's a certain way of wrapping them around you. When you're laying them diagonally, you tuck your feet in, then wrap one side round you and one side round you, but as you wriggle round at night it comes undone and comes off of you, which can make for a bad night's sleep. I mean, the amount of times I have to keep pulling it on me, it happens every time I use a wool blanket. I'm going to do something and maybe put some toggles on them with some deer antler or something so I can sort of fix it shut maybe. But there you go. But I'm hoping if this is to work properly, I won't need anything in there. It gets so hot in there, it traps the heat so well. I've got the fire reflector, I know it's not that near it, but it can't be because of the angle that I need for the supports of the fire pit. So fingers crossed. So it's about 8 o'clock now. I'm hoping there's enough wood on there to take me through to the morning. It's all hardwood. You're wondering how I cut it. It's not chainsaw, it's with a Katana Boy 650, which I bring out in the winter. But I will do a review of that soon actually. But I mean, as you can see, it's pretty useful. Didn't cut all of that. Not every single cut was done with a 650, but I mean, it does make life a lot easier in the winter when you're burning more wood. So one more thing I'd like to point out is long fires are better. A square shaped fire will burn in the middle at its hottest, around the edges cool down, the wood rolls away, it burns really hot in the middle, so you constantly keep to need replacing wood. Long fires are great, but if you make a long fire, put two big bits of wood in it side by side, so they're laying down sort of next to each other, spooning. What will happen is the sides that are touching each other will burn, and eventually one log will roll away. The heat will die down in between the two logs to a point where it can't maintain combustion. One thing I've noticed is that wood needs to be a certain distance apart for it to maintain combustion, to generate the heat needed for combustion. If you put two bits of wood right next to each other, side by side, there'll be parts that are touching and parts that aren't. The parts that aren't touching, with say like an inch gap, I've found is about the best. Sort of 15mm to an inch. They're the bits that will burn the most. The bits that are touching won't, and the bits that are too far apart won't either. So this is where this fire pit, which is V-shaped, it slopes down from one side and slopes down from the other, so the wood has to roll into itself at the bottom, which keeps it pressed together, which keeps the heat and keeps combustion, it keeps it burning. I don't know if it's anything new, but I've done it over a long time of just watching fires and figuring out what you need really. So after figuring that out, that's where the idea comes from, the self-feeding pit, because if it's a V-shape, it's already sloped down into it, and the weight from the wood stacked up on the pit's going to keep pushing the other wood to the back of the pit, to the back part of the V, which gives the rest of the wood room to slide down. But you've always got at least two bits of wood touching that have been pushed together. So yeah, I said it's not rocket science, and I'm not sure if it's anything new, but I haven't seen anyone do anything like it. So yeah, that's why I'm patenting this fire, as to speak, as the Wild Man self-feeding pit, although it might be a load of crap and not even work. So this is the test. If it works, then yeah, I'm taking all the credit for that, thanks. But yeah, someone else has probably done something like it anyway. I've seen different sorts of long fires, and Scandinavian ones and Siberian ones, and with nodes and 2 or 3 nodes and all that. But I haven't seen one like this. So yeah, I said we're probably just over an hour, maybe a bit more. I will come back with a good time check soon, so we'll see. But yeah, it's going alright. It seems to be really self-sufficient at the minute. It's all good. So we're 2.5 hours in now, and it is working really well. It is self-feeding. It's strange because it feeds so slowly you never actually see anything move. I suppose as every tiny part of ash just falls off, it slowly disintegrates and slowly moves down. It doesn't sort of, well, it hasn't jolted yet at all. No, nothing's really fell into it. I'm sure it will at some point, but I mean the first piece to go into it's near enough burnt all the way through now. The second piece is well on fire now, and that's been going for 2.5 hours. So those other 3 pieces behind, there's enough fuel there easily to take me through to the morning, just as long as it keeps working alright. So yeah, going alright. The only thing I have done is remove a slightly bendy log because that got a little bit caught up. But yeah, apart from that I haven't touched it in quite a while now. So I'll try and keep you up to date. Obviously I'm going to try and sleep, but guaranteed I will wake up for a wee. So I'll try and do as much filming as I can through the night, although I do want to get some sleep. So yeah, fingers crossed I'll stay warm because I'm still in my t-shirt at the moment. Now it's what time is it now? It's about 10, half 10, something like that. The temperature is dropping, but not inside here, so happy days. See you in another hour or so. So we're 4 hours in, and the 4th log has just caught within about the last 10 minutes. Bearing in mind that the 1st and 2nd were both smaller than the 3rd, and the 4th is probably twice the size of the 3rd. I've just checked from the side to make sure those flames aren't going around the back of the 4th log, and they're not. They can't get round the back. It's pretty much flat against the floor. There's smoke coming up through there, but no flames are getting round there. So yeah, it's going really well. All I've done to it is move stuff around in the pit with my shovel a bit, just pushed it up together, but really I've hardly touched it at all. I've put the bendy log back on the top just in case I need that fuel. I don't think I'm going to, but I'm sitting here in my t-shirt. It's 11 o'clock, no, nearly 12 o'clock, sorry, 10 to 12. Sitting here in my t-shirt, barefoot. It's early autumn. It's not cold, but the temperature does drop through the night. So just as long as I can keep this going at this rate, I should be alright, because I'm a bit too warm, if anything. So as the temperature drops, hopefully that'll even out a bit. So yeah, keep you updated. So it's 2 in the morning. I hope you guys appreciate this, because I did actually have to have a bit of a mental struggle to make myself film this. But I did wake up a bit cold, and it had got caught up, it hadn't rolled down properly. So I've literally just grabbed my axe, hooked it into the side and just pulled it down. But that's been burning for 6 hours now, and that's all I've done. I did plan just to sleep in a t-shirt, although I've had to put my jacket on, which I haven't even got done up, but just to take the draft off my back. So not quite complete, but it's still going very well, considering all I've had to do really in 6 hours is pull one log in, which let the others roll down,
Still plenty of wood on there for 6 hours burn. Got another 6 hours, I'd say. And there's plenty of wood laying about. Even if that goes, I can just chuck a load more on in the morning sometime. Anyway, thought I'd keep you updated. I hope you appreciate it. Oh, good night. So, sun's coming up now slowly. This is what I've got on the fire. I've had to put another log on this. It has got cold through the night, and it did die down. There's still wood on there, but not enough for it to flame up, and so the embers died down. It's still going, it's still there, but yeah, it must have been burning for a good 10 hours now. Should be enough on there to burn for another couple of hours at least. Yeah, I'll probably talk a bit more about it when I get up. I'm going to try and have another couple of hours sleep, but it's still going. So yes, it's a success in that sense. But yeah, we'll have a bit more of a chat about it when I wake up properly. Morning. So the self-feeding fire worked. There are some pros and cons to it. The con last night was that the wood ran out, so I should have put more on. I did honestly think it would burn through. I think that ran out at about 4 in the morning. So I had to put some more on, and then you have to wait for it to heat back up again. I did manage to sleep without a sleeping bag or a blanket last night. I did get quite cold a couple of times. Once the fire was heated back up, I was alright. I did have to eventually move my bed nearer to the fire. So, but it didn't all burn up in a big blaze of glory, which I was a bit worried about, I'm not going to lie. And it did feed well. There was one time when it hadn't dropped, none of it had dropped in, so I had to pull it all in, and then it all dropped down into it, and then I think that was the last 2 big pieces and half of one of the bottom pieces, because it doesn't actually roll down it sort of just slides down, so it can get caught quite easily, which I didn't encounter for. But yeah, the pro to it is really little maintenance. I mean, but the fire's been going for 14 hours now. It's 10:30, so yeah, the whole time it was self-feeding, really it was working. I mean, I didn't have to actually sort of get up and put any logs on, or all I had to do was that one time of pulling it down and a few times of just raking the embers round in the pit to make them more concentrated. So that's definitely a pro. But another con is that it doesn't really give off that much heat. We've just really, all the bits that burning are 2 logs side by side. The flames sort of come up in the middle, they come around the front a bit for a while, and then that sort of chars, and or you get that black, you get the black white ember along the front, and then once that's burnt, the flame dies back down again. There's no like crisscrossing of the wood, so you don't get as much of an intense heat, which is why I had to move my bed nearer. But yeah, as an experiment, I'd say it was a success, because it done what I wanted it to, really. Would I do another one? Not sure I'd bother, if I'm honest. It's just not enough heat, especially for the winter, and that's when you want it. But don't think I'm going to use self-feeding fire again, if I'm honest. It was more of just an experiment. It done what I wanted to, so yeah. Anyway, I've just had a bit of a tidy up. Been chilling out for a while, and I'm going to get some breakfast on the go now. It's getting a bit late for breakfast, but I'm starving, so okay.